Welcome to our channel. Over the past few days, we have received sad news about the passing of outstanding talents who left a deep mark on the hearts of millions of people. Today's episode is dedicated to their memory, their art, and their contribution that will live on forever. Before we begin, we ask you to support this video, like it as a sign of respect and memory of these amazing people. Thank you for your attention and for being with us to remember these legendary artists. First star to go, Paul Di'Anno. Paul Di'Anno was born on May 17, 1958 in London, in a working-class area where punk music and culture were part of everyday life. From childhood, he was drawn to rebellion and freedom, and music became his main means of self-expression. His early life was far from calm and comfortable. Di'Anno grew up surrounded by strict rules and rigid discipline, which strengthened his desire for independence. As a teenager, he began to delve into the world of rock, becoming fascinated with bands such as Black Sabbath and Deep Purple, which inspired him to create his own unique style. His voice was distinctive, a combination of powerful rawness and expressiveness that set him apart from other musicians of his generation. Paul made his first steps on the music scene with local bands, where he quickly gained a reputation as a bright and passionate vocalist. Di'Anno's energy and stage presence attracted attention, and his rebellious spirit and personal charisma made him popular in the London underground scene. Gradually, he became an increasingly visible figure, and fate brought him together with musicians who were looking for a vocalist for their new band, Iron Maiden. This event marked the beginning of Paul's rise to the top of the world music scene and the starting point for creating a legacy that lives on to this day. When Paul Di'Anno joined Iron Maiden in the late 1970s, he brought not only his unique voice to the band, but also an energy that was perfect for their hard-hitting, powerful sound. Iron Maiden were still in their infancy, but Di'Anno's arrival gave their music a new dimension. His raspy, intense vocals became the band's signature, adding a dark, aggressive edge to the songs. He embodied the spirit of the streets, infusing his performances with genuine passion and raw drive, which, coupled with his stage presence, won him fans all over the world. With Iron Maiden, Di'Anno recorded two iconic albums, Iron Maiden, 1980, and Killers, 1981. These albums instantly brought the band international popularity. Songs such as Phantom of the Opera, Running Free, and Wrathchild became symbols of early heavy metal. Paul made each song lively and dynamic, filling it with his unique style of performance and personal attitude to the lyrics. However, despite his success, Di'Anno's path to Iron Maiden was not easy. His rebellious spirit and tendency to excess often led to conflicts within the band. Immersed in the rock and roll life, he faced problems that began to affect his health and performances. Eventually, in 1981, the band was forced to part ways with him. Nevertheless, his contribution to the development of Iron Maiden and the entire heavy metal genre cannot be overestimated. Di'Anno became an icon of his time and will forever remain in the hearts of fans. The last years of Paul Di'Anno's life were marred by serious health problems. After leaving Iron Maiden, his career continued in other musical projects, but none of them achieved the success he had with the legendary band. Over time, the musician's health began to deteriorate, which was largely due to his previous lifestyle, constant touring, stress, and occasional abuse. In recent years, Paul battled prostate cancer, which was a difficult test for both himself and his loved ones. Despite treatment attempts and numerous courses of therapy, the disease gradually progressed. Di'Anno found support among his colleagues and fans, which helped him hold on, but his condition remained unstable. In the end, the musician's body could not withstand it. On October 21, 2024, Paul Di'Anno passed away, leaving a huge void in the hearts of fans around the world. Paul's death is a tragedy for all who valued his contribution to the world of music. His indomitable spirit, distinctive voice, and charisma made him a true legend of heavy metal. His memory and his work will live on in the hearts of fans, for whom he will forever remain a symbol of freedom, strength, and rebellion. The second star who is no longer with us, Michael Nyman. Michael Nyman was born on May 21, 1957 in Los Angeles, California, a city where beaches, ocean, and sunny weather were an integral part of life. Since childhood, Michael felt a special attraction to the sea. He spent a lot of time on the coast watching lifeguards work, and even then he dreamed of becoming one of them. The desire to help others and the desire to be useful to society gradually formed in him those qualities that led him to his future career. As an adult, Nyman made his dream come true by becoming a professional lifeguard. He began serving on the beaches of Los Angeles, where he quickly earned the respect of his colleagues for his courage, discipline, and responsibility. Over the years, he saved many lives, remaining dedicated to his work. Michael often found himself in dangerous situations where every moment mattered, and it was in such moments that his true qualities emerged: fearlessness, determination, and the desire to always be on top. When Baywatch began filming in the early 1990s, the show's creators were looking not only for talented actors, but also for professional lifeguards to add realism to the action on screen. Michael Nyman was perfect for the role. Not only was he an experienced lifeguard, but he also embodied the ideal of strength, endurance, and calm confidence that a lifeguard must maintain even in the most difficult situations. Having Nyman on the show as an actor playing himself was a real gift for the show's creators. His participation brought a veracity and believability that is not always easy to create with acting skills alone. Nyman quickly became one of the most recognizable faces of Baywatch. His character, a professional lifeguard who selflessly helps people on the beach, won the hearts of millions of viewers around the world. Michael didn't just play the role, he literally lived it on screen. Unlike other actors, he knew the lifeguard's job from the inside, which allowed him to convey the complex details of the profession with ease. Every scene in which Nyman participated was enriched by his real professional skills, be it resuscitation, water rescue, or first aid. Viewers felt the sincerity and professionalism in his performance, which made him a hero not only on screen but also in real life. Michael Nyman's popularity as a character on Baywatch grew with each season. He became an inspiration for many young people who dreamed of becoming lifeguards like their on-screen hero. Nyman's appearance on screen not only added action and drama, but also emphasized the importance and nobility of the lifeguard profession. The scenes he participated in were often based on his real-life experiences, and his advice and guidance were useful even to his colleagues on the set. Michael's charisma and sincerity made him one of the show's key figures, despite not being a professional actor in the traditional sense. His natural charm and genuine dedication to his profession made him a favorite of the audience. Over the years, he remained a symbol of the show and its soul, the kind of honest, steadfast, and dedicated character that viewers were waiting for on screen. Michael Nyman became a true icon for fans of the show and all those who admired his dedication and fearlessness. The last years of Michael Nyman's life were not easy. Despite his strong spirit and character, his health problems began to mount, and Parkinson's disease, which he was diagnosed with, turned into a difficult test. The disease, which slowly but surely takes away a person's ability to control their body, became a real test for Michael, who was used to being active and constantly moving. This condition required incredible patience and fortitude from him, as his health continued to deteriorate, limiting him in the simplest actions. However, even when faced with these difficulties, Michael maintained his determination and will to live. He continued to fight the disease and inspire those who followed his fate, and his friends and fans always supported him, admiring his courage and resilience. Newman did not lose touch with the world and tried to maintain communication with colleagues and fans, who always considered him not only a great rescuer, but also an example of a true hero. On October 20th, 2024, Michael Newman passed away. His death shocked many who knew him both on and off screen. For those who looked up to him, his passing was a huge loss. Michael left behind a legacy not only as an actor, but as a lifeguard who dedicated his life to protecting and helping people. In the hearts of viewers, he will remain the same hero from Baywatch, a man willing to risk everything for others, and a symbol of the courage with which he lived his life. The next celebrity who is no longer with us, actress Teri Garr. Teri Garr was born on December 11, 1944, in Lakewood, Ohio, to a family where art and creativity were an integral part of life. Her father was an actor and comedian, and her mother was a ballerina and choreographer, which largely determined Teri's future. From an early age, she dreamed of following in her parents' footsteps, and soon her passion for dancing and acting became obvious. Teri began taking dance lessons, and her talent led her to the stage, where she began performing at a young age. Teri's first steps in the world of show business began with dancing roles on Broadway, where she showed herself to be an energetic and capable young actress. Gradually, she began to be invited to play episodic roles in films and on television. She appeared as a dancer in the films West Side Story and Viva Las Vegas, and this became her first real experience of working on a film set. Despite small roles, Garr continued to improve and dream of more, seeing great opportunities in Hollywood before her. Her determination and passion for the art helped her quickly attract the attention of directors and producers, and soon she began to receive more significant roles. Teri was ready for every challenge and enthusiastically took on any project, which allowed her to build a career that would later lead her to the most prominent roles and nominations for prestigious awards. Teri Garr's real success came in the 1970s, when her career in Hollywood rapidly took off. Thanks to a combination of talent, comedic instinct, and charm, she was able to take her place among the best actresses of her generation. One of her first iconic roles was her work in the film Young Frankenstein, 1974, directed by Mel Brooks. In this parody comedy, Teri brilliantly played the role of Inga, the assistant of the main character. Her sparkling humor and ability to convey emotions made her character one of the most memorable in the film. Thanks to the success of this role, Teri Garr became a real star and a favorite of the audience. Another important milestone was her role in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1977, where she again demonstrated her acting skills. But Teri's real breakthrough was Tootsie, 1982, which made her one of the most recognizable actresses in Hollywood. In this cult comedy, she played Sandy, the good-natured and slightly clumsy girlfriend of the main character, masterfully played by Dustin Hoffman. The role of Sandy allowed Garr to demonstrate not only her comedic but also dramatic skills, creating a character full of depth and soul. For this role, Teri was nominated for an Academy Award, which became an important milestone in her career. Her characters, kind, sincere, and full of life, aroused sympathy in the audience and became favorite heroes. Teri had a rare gift to be convincing in any role, be it comedy or drama. With her energy and charisma, she refreshed the screen, turning each of her roles into real art. Thanks to roles in such films as Mr. Mom, After Hours, and Old Gringo, she forever secured her status as one of the most versatile and talented actresses in Hollywood. The last years of Teri Garr's life were overshadowed by a serious illness, which became a difficult test for the actress and her loved ones. In the early 2000s, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a disease that affects the central nervous system and gradually limits physical abilities. Despite the fact that the disease was sapping her strength, Terry, with her inherent resilience and courage, continued to fight and did not lose her optimism. She was actively involved in educating people about this disease, becoming a voice of support for many patients suffering from multiple sclerosis. Terry was open about her struggles, not hiding the difficulties she faced. Her candor and courage in her fight against the disease were respected and inspired many. Even during the hard times when the disease progressed, she did not lose her sense of humor and continued to connect with fans. Terry became a symbol of strength and resilience for those who followed her career and personal life. Her willingness to share her experiences provided great support to people who found themselves in a similar situation. Terry Garr passed away on October 29, 2024, leaving behind a great legacy. Her talent and versatility will forever remain in the history of cinema, and her life, filled with both successes and trials, will inspire many. Terry Garr was more than just an actress. She was an example of strength, resilience, and love for life. The memory of her roles and her bright image will forever remain in the hearts of fans and in the history of cinema. Paul Morrissey was born on February 23, 1938, in the Bronx, New York City, to a family with Irish roots. From an early age, he was surrounded by the culture of the big city, where various influences combined, from classical art to underground. His fascination with cinematography manifested itself in his youth. He enthusiastically watched films, studied the works of classics, and dreamed of creating his own art that would destroy accepted norms. After graduating from high school, Paul entered Fordham University, where he studied literature, art, and cinema. This education helped him develop a unique perspective on art and prepared him for a career that would later make his name famous in the world of cinema. After university, Morrissey began his career working in television and advertising, but quickly realized that he was drawn to a more independent and experimental approach to creativity. Inspired by counterculture ideas, he began making short films, experimenting with form, themes, and filming methods. His early work immediately attracted attention. It was bold, original, and unconventional. It was then that fate brought him together with the famous artist Andy Warhol, whose art studio factory would become the next chapter in Morrissey's life and the platform for the creation of his most iconic works. When Paul Morrissey joined the famous factory art studio founded by Andy Warhol, his work received a new impetus. In this experimental and daring atmosphere, Paul found the perfect platform for the realization of his ideas. Working under Warhol's wing, Morrissey began making films that turned the idea of underground cinema upside down. Together with Warhol, he created his own unique style, exploring controversial and sometimes shocking themes: drugs, sex, the struggle for self-expression in a world full of taboos. In this context, his cult films were born: Flesh, 1968, Trash, 1970, and Heat, 1972. Each of these films was candid, documentary-like, and a true-to-life depiction of life without embellishment. Morrissey was all about sincerity, so he used non-professional actors and his characters essentially played themselves. These films were distinguished by their naturalism, which, coupled with their unconventional plots, caused a storm of emotions among viewers and critics. The film Trash, for example, explored the life of a drug addict in New York City, a reality that was rarely shown on screen at the time. His plots were often based on the lives of people on the outskirts of society, which became a hallmark of Morrissey's style. These films, although controversial, became cult classics. Morrissey found extraordinary beauty and authenticity in their simplicity and openness. His work shattered stereotypes, and he was recognized as one of the most brilliant and uncompromising directors of his time. Paul Morrissey not only expanded the boundaries of underground cinema, but also influenced a whole generation of directors, inspiring them to experiment and explore taboo subjects in art. Although Paul Morrissey spent his later years away from the cinema, his legacy remained significant to fans of underground cinema and those inspired by his innovative approach. Although his films were often controversial and received with mixed reviews, Morrissey's influence on cinema cannot be overstated. The early 21st century saw a resurgence of interest in his work, with retrospectives and festivals dedicated to his films attracting audiences who appreciated his boldness and unique artistic vision. Morrissey remained involved with the art world and shared memories of his time at the factory, eager to talk about what had been a seminal experience for him. Paul Morrissey passed away on October 28, 2024. His passing was a loss to the world of cinema, as he was not just a director, but a man who opened up new horizons in cinema. His works remain iconic and symbolize the spirit of independence, experimentation, and free expression that he brought to underground cinema. Inspiring new directors and viewers alike, he left a deep mark, proving that true art is not always about the glitter of Hollywood, but sometimes about life shown without embellishment. Latest news about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a man who from a young age turned his body into a symbol of strength and unbreakable will. He was born on July 30, 1947 in the small Austrian town of Thal, near Graz, where sport became his salvation and inspiration. Arnold's childhood was far from easy. His family lived modestly, and, as he himself later admitted, he had a strong desire to go beyond his circumstances. His father was a policeman and a strict disciplinarian, which also left its mark on Arnold's upbringing. It was sport, and later bodybuilding, that became an opportunity for him to prove to himself and others that he was capable of great achievements. Having started training as a teenager, Schwarzenegger quickly realized that he not only had talent, but also a rare determination that set him apart from others. He spent long hours in the gym, perfecting each exercise until it became automatic, and soon his physique began to attract the attention of trainers. At 18, he entered his first international competition and realized that bodybuilding would become his life. In 1967, at just 20 years old, he won his first Mr. Universe title, becoming the youngest athlete to win the title. This success not only confirmed his determination, but also opened the door to an international career. After moving to the United States, Arnold continued to reach new heights in bodybuilding, becoming a 7-time Mr. Olympia. This stage of his life made him not just famous, but a true sports icon. Arnold developed his own approaches to training, which included not only strength and endurance, but also strict self-discipline. His exercises, training methods, and philosophy of sports became the basis for subsequent generations of bodybuilders. Even when he began to build a career in film and then politics, his passion for sports and commitment to maintaining physical fitness remained an integral part of his life. Schwarzenegger became for many a symbol of strength, hard work, and determination, qualities that he instilled in himself from an early age and carried throughout his life. Despite his incredible physical fitness and the training that Arnold Schwarzenegger has dedicated his entire life to, his health has also faced serious challenges. In 1997, when Arnold was about 50 years old, he underwent his first heart surgery, an aortic valve replacement. This procedure had to be done because of a congenital heart defect that he learned about in his youth, but tried not to focus on it, continuing to train hard and achieve his goals. This operation was a serious test for Arnold, but he managed to quickly recover and continue his active career. However, this was not the last heart surgery for Schwarzenegger. In 2018, he was back on the operating table for a valve replacement, and this time, the procedure was even more complex. Complications arose during the surgery, and Arnold had to undergo another emergency surgery to stabilize his condition. Despite this, Arnold took on the next challenge with the same determined spirit that has always distinguished him. A few days after the surgery, he declared, "I'm back," a phrase that became iconic after the movie Terminator, which delighted his fans around the world. In addition to heart surgeries, Schwarzenegger has had several procedures on his knees and shoulders, which were damaged by years of intense training and stress. He had to give up some of the exercises he was used to in his youth, but he continues to exercise, adapting his workouts to his current capabilities. Despite the difficulties, Arnold remains true to his principles, prioritizing health and showing that even after serious surgeries, it is possible to return to an active life. His example inspires many people to take care of their health, exercise, and not give up in the face of difficulties, no matter how serious they are. As Arnold Schwarzenegger got older, he realized that his body required even more careful care, and he changed his views on health, nutrition, and training. Today, he actively shares his principles with fans, promoting a healthy lifestyle and warning against excessive loads, which he himself experienced in his youth. Now Schwarzenegger calls for prioritizing health care and maintaining a balance between physical activity and rest. He emphasizes that even the strongest motivation and desire to achieve high results should not harm the body. One of the big changes has been his approach to nutrition. Arnold, who spent most of his life eating a traditional, meat-heavy, protein-heavy diet, has reconsidered his relationship with animal products. In recent years, he has become an advocate of a mostly plant-based diet, arguing that it not only has a positive effect on his health, but also helps him maintain his vitality and energy. Despite his love of protein, he says that adding plant-based foods has made him feel better and allowed him to continue training without overexerting his body. Schwarzenegger also emphasizes the importance of regular medical checkups. He admits that he didn't always pay attention to this when he was younger, relying on his physical fitness. But as he got older, he realized how important it is to identify problems early. He openly shares his health story to motivate others to take care of themselves and not neglect medical checkups. His experience and conscious approach to health have made him an example of how to respect your body and change habits over time. Arnold Schwarzenegger remains an inspirational figure for millions of people, especially those who follow his principles not only in sports but also in life. His story is an example of how important it is to adapt to change, respect your body, and be ready for a new stage in life.